Let me tell you a story. It starts in 1918, in a tiny village in South Africa. A place so small that history didn't bother to look at it. There was no electricity, no libraries, no reason for the world to care. But a boy was born there who would later change how the world understands power, justice, and forgiveness. He didn't grow up in a broken home. He grew up in a broken system. In his country, the law wasn't there to protect people. It was designed to control them. If you were black, you couldn't vote. You needed permission to travel, and your voice, legally, didn't matter. Imagine growing up knowing that the rules were written against you from the start. As a young man, he believed in education. He believed in the idea that knowledge could fix things. And strangely enough, he believed in the law, so he studied it. Not because it worked, but because he wanted to understand how something meant to protect people could be used to hurt them. And that's when he realized something important. This wasn't a case of bad people breaking good laws. This was a case of bad laws being followed perfectly. Speaking out back then was dangerous. Still, he joined a movement calling for equal rights. At first, everything was peaceful. Meetings, speeches, protests, but the government didn't hear words. They heard a threat. And in 1962, they arrested him. They said he was dangerous. They said he was a troublemaker. They said he was a risk to national security. But really, he was dangerous because he believed people should be equal. The punishment was extreme. Life in prison. They sent him to Robben Island, a place designed to break people. A tiny cell, cold floors, back-breaking labor. Years passed, and then decades. Most people would have come out angry, bitter, ready for revenge. But something unexpected happened instead. Prison didn't harden him. It clarified him. He chose not to hate the people who locked him away. He studied them. He learned their language. He trained his mind while his body was trapped. He once said something powerful. If I leave prison with hatred, then prison has won. He stayed there for 27 years. 27. When he was finally released in 1990, the world held its breath. South Africa was close to civil war. People were angry, scared, waiting for revenge, and everyone expected him to lead that anger. But instead, he did the opposite. He spoke about unity. He spoke about building a country together, not winning it. He chose conversation over violence, forgiveness over revenge. That choice wasn't easy. The country was still unstable. People were still dying. But he understood something most leaders don't. You can't build a peaceful future using the tools of hatred. In 1993, the world recognized that courage. He was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Still, he didn't take power by force. He waited, because real leadership to him meant being chosen. And in 1994, history finally caught up. For the first time, every South African could vote. People stood in lines for hours. People who had been invisible their entire lives were finally seen. That day wasn't just about politics. It was about dignity. So when people ask who Nelson Mandela really was, he wasn't just a prisoner. He wasn't just a president. He was proof that strength doesn't always shout. Sometimes real power forgives.